For my whole life, Nintendo and Microsoft held reign to my favorite exclusives. I only bought a PlayStation 3 at the end of its life to play The Last of Us and Metal Gear 4. But then, the day came when a PlayStation 4 exclusive looked so amazing, I couldn't resist. In August of 2016, I bought a PS4. Maybe you're asking, what game could have piqued my interest as much as these gems? There are as many scathing reviews for this game as there are boring and empty planets in vanilla No Man's Sky. Safe to say, what I wanted in a game was adventure, mystery, to travel among the stars and to really unravel what it all means. To reach the center of the universe. And what a premise! To explore new worlds, meet exotic aliens, learn secret languages, and uncover the mysteries of something so massive and grand that it should blow my mind. Yeah, I wanted to blow my brains out of my skull after about 2 hours of this game. But those desires I mentioned, I do believe that they're core to humanity, and thus when I bought and played No Man's Sky, and realized that the game consists of boring, monotonous grinding with little to no substance, I felt burned. To my knowledge, no game has really dabbled in this space genre with themes and questions about our universe as a whole, and that I've been wanting for so long. I wanted discovery, adventure, and an attempt to make sense of the universe in a new and creative way. And I can say confidently that in 2019, we got just that with Outer Wilds. Now, I'm going to make a few brief disclaimers. First, I do not always agree with IGN, but this time I think they got it right. This is a magical game that made me think and feel in ways games haven't in a long, long time. I'm going to discuss briefly the game's premise, and if you're intrigued, I encourage you to try the game and then come back to hear my thoughts. Second, I'm not Joseph Anderson, nor am I Skill Up, and I'm definitely not Dunkey. This is my first formal review, so I'm trying to find a sweet spot between analysis, critique, and theorizing. My criteria essentially will come down to mechanics, art, technical gunk, all in relation to what does the game cost. Example, No Man's Sky was technically and artistically sound, but the mechanics sucked, and it cost $60. Well, like $300 when you consider I bought the PS4, rip. So as a result, the game's like a 4 out of 10 for me. Had it been $20, I probably would give it a 6. Apex Legends, a free-to-play game, is like a 9 for me, because even though there's not a ton of content, the mechanics, art, and technical side are outstanding, and it's free. Finally, I follow Jesus. Look, alright, this game revolves around discovering secrets of the universe, which ultimately asks existential questions about God, our creation, and life and religion as a whole. So I preface this because my faith is my viewpoint on life, the world, and consequently, the video games that I play. Finally, let me tell you about the Outer Worlds. JK, that's a different game. That also looks amazing, but it's like Fallout. This isn't Fallout. This is Outer Wilds. You're a member of the Outer Wilds, a small group of budding adventurers ready to take on the solar system and discover its secrets. After a brief tutorial on the game's 3 mechanics, movement, a shooty drone thing, and the smelloscope,
you'll find that every heavenly body has its own particular scent.
Now, you know literally all you need to know to unravel the secrets of the universe. Oh, and I guess you need to know how to read? I guess that's a given, but if you don't, this won't be a good game for you. Oh, and ghost matter. And quantum rocks. And zero gravity pitch black, space repairs. Just remember all of this. Trust me, you'll get it. While this is definitely the most boring part of the game, it does show you everything. And it showcases that the game is centered around the tenets of discovery and creativity. The music in Timber Hearth, the planet you start on, is chipper. The townsfolk each have some personality, and the tone of the game seems clear. You are of an alien race with humble beginnings, ready to take on the galaxy. Of course, it helps that the planet resembles Earth in many ways. It's got the lush greenery and ultra-violent sky-high shooting water geysers. But when the moment comes that you get to board your ship and see what's out there, that's the moment that you'll be hooked. Now it's time for some light spoilers, and by light, I mean that these things are in the game's description when you download it. 22 minutes after waking up, the sun is going to go supernova and kill everything within the solar system. You, your people, those two kids that suck at hide and seek, everything. Poof, gone. Now, it might surprise you even more to find out that it took me like 3 hours before I even survived the full 22 minutes.
What the heck? Why? Why? It was on autopilot. It was on autopilot. Wait a minute, what? Oh, the thing is perfectly intact, except for that.
But I digress. This is a beautiful, harmonic universe, and though it is passively trying to kill you it will. Speaking of harmonic, the music in this game is amazing. The writing in the game, tight, witty, smart. The topics range from love to quantum mechanics. And which is the hard end of that spectrum? I don't know. But the worlds? Well, I'll save showing them for the spoiler zone, but I assure you each is varied, interesting, and incredibly well realized. Dense with mystery and discovery. Now, at the outset of the game, the majority of your Outer Wilds crew are in space, waiting to be found, and can be tracked super easily with your smelloscope. Your team's goal is to learn about and understand the race of goat people called the Nomai. They are a race that came before you, did pretty much all the research and work, and now you've just got to figure out what they learned through their random graffitis and rap tapes, and use that to ultimately save the world. Alright. Now we're in the spoiler zone, and I won't say the final beats of the game until the end for the ultra spoiler zone, but expect the worlds to be shown and a lot of the whoa moments to be discussed here. Bam! You're walking down from the observatory when a goat statue gives you the stare down. Bam! Now when you die, instead of the credits rolling and you having to start a whole new game, you wake up back where you started, on the ground, looking up at the sky, at something that just did a thing, and another thing went poof. Except now you've got the launch codes in your head, so you can just ignore the rookie crap because you're in the big leagues with John Cena and Tom Cruise. So, you check your map and you can see that everything in the solar system is moving, the next 22 minutes operating on a tight schedule. Almost everything is orchestrated in such a way, wound like a pocket watch, moving seamlessly towards destruction. Rarely did I feel as though this mechanic wasted my time, as a restart often meant new discoveries and saved some back travel. This is one of the game's most satisfying premises, and it nails it expertly, with only a dash of random elements that, while used scarcely, are used to incredible effect. Over dozens of deaths, ranging from 10 to 20 hours of game time, you will know this universe like the back of your hand, with the developers nailing its execution at almost every step. There are over 10 celestial bodies or space stations to discover in this game, and like I said before, each is amazing and interactive. Giant's Deep is a massive water world dotted with 4 islands across its surface. What you'll probably notice, though, are the massive hurricanes that literally shoot the islands into space. And if you aren't careful, it'll do the same to you. Then, you have these other planets called the Hourglass Twins, the Ember Twin and the Ash Twin. It took me a while to get why they're called the Hourglass Twins. Let's not talk about that. But once you are drowned in sand from the sky, it starts to make sense. As the Ash Twin rotates around its sister planet, it dumps a massive trail of sand. On both planets, this mechanic is used, closing and opening up new secrets on both. After about 20 minutes into your loop, the Ember Twin is full, and the Ash Twin runs dry. The Hourglass has finished. Another planet, aptly named the Brittle Hollow, breaks apart when its lava-spewing moon breaks its surface, revealing, you guessed it, a hollow interior with, you didn't guess it, a black hole. And then there's this other planet that's just so fiery and hot then that, oh, yeah, that's just the sun. All right, the planets are amazing. Each is tied to a specific theme that is massive in scope and seamlessly integrated into this solar system. It's here where I have to give credit to the small indie studio that put this together, because the load screens are mostly well hidden, making the solar system all the more amazing and immersive. Unfortunately though, on my garbage original Xbone, the game hiccups and stutters worse than a dyslexic illiterate hippopotamus trying to read the ingredients on his alphabet soup. I would bet it runs better on PC and probably better on the Xbox One X, but alas, my technical experience was subpar, suffering from game-breaking crashes.
Well, that doesn't seem good.
Some that really frustrated me.
No! No! Come on!
And some less than stellar textures. Just be warned.
I do not know if this is supposed to happen or not. Whoa!
What this game nails is making the journey the adventure. Despite never seeing most of the characters writing in their ancient Nomai language, I began recognizing names and patterns in how they spoke, or wrote, I suppose. And I started connecting the places, missions, and characters in ways that normally is pretty difficult to do in games. I really dislike worthless text boxes, and I hate it when games feel obliged to slap on a story to a game that doesn't need it. And it drives me even more crazy when a game is so long that you have to remind the player constantly of the million things that happened before because your story is just so convoluted and it's just frustrating. Persona 5, Xenoblade 2, Super Mario 64.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
This game don't do that. The sensation of mystery and discovery is real. Why is the sun blowing up? How do I keep going back in time when I die? What are these? What does this do? How did the moon just disappear when I tried to land on it? All of these are answered. So yeah, I never intentionally skipped over text.
Oh no! I needed that door!
Oh, I don't think I'm getting that last bit back. Hope that wasn't for an achievement. If you are intrigued by this game, please go and play it. It's like $1 for Xbox Game Pass. Seriously, it's so worth $1. Heck, I didn't even know how much it cost, like full price, and I said, you know, I'd pay $30 for it, only to discover it's $25. Ho ho! A steal if there's ever been one. If you want to jump to my final non-spoiler concluding thoughts with a little review number, here you go. There are no upgrades in this game, only rules. That's how the game changes over its course of 10 to 20 hours. Seeing these guys for the first time legit made me scream.
Oh my god.
Figuring out how to get past them, genius and terrifying. Going under the water to get stuck only to realize that there's a secret reverse hurricane? Whoa, that was good. How to land on the freaking moon? Yep, figured it out, and I don't even know if I did it the right way. But the point is the game doesn't hold your hand in the slightest. And because you can do so much in any order, you could somehow accidentally wind up in the right place at the right time on accident and just boop, beat the game. Super unlikely though, because these rules are set up so that they're simple in premise, but almost impossible to figure out on your own. It's the best type of game design, when you have limited elements that players need to discover and utilize in new creative ways. And especially when it combines all of them together, wow. Now, as you can see, I'd figured out all of the mysteries of the game except this one final part. I had done no tutorials, I hadn't cheated, hadn't looked anything up, and it felt glorious. We're talking about a 9.5 out of 10 right now. Hoo boy. But, unfortunately, the final moments of this game really struggle. Let me explain. On the Ash Twin is the core of the game's time travel premise. Literally, the reason that you exist is because of the sun's supernova activating a machine that allows you to go back in time 22 minutes. It's an astounding revelation that the people you've been chasing did all of this right, and failed, while you, almost by happenstance, now get to discover the equivalent of God, the eye of the universe. And I should mention, the puzzle to get down to the core is an anti-puzzle, because you've been given all the tools to do this, and it seems like the way you would do it, it seems like it would make sense, but then it just doesn't work. So I did it the correct way, but slightly earlier than a random window of time, and so I'm suddenly like, how do I get down there? Yeah, as soon as I had to look it up, it sucked the fun right out of discovery. But then, another surge of excitement happens. The game says, hey, you pull that little machine out, you going to die. Like, die. Like, repercussions because the time travel machine turns off. And I'm like, we'll see about that. So when I took out the warp core, I knew exactly what to do. Because despite the fact that there was only one of these items identical beforehand in the game, despite the fact that there was only one time that the codes were mentioned, I took a picture of it because I didn't want to miss this ultra important information. And I remembered exactly where it needed to be inputted. Suddenly, I felt amazing. I didn't have a waypoint telling me to go to the final spots of the game. I remembered because the game has been making me an active part of its story. It felt awesome. And now, for the first time, the finality of the game, my death had real consequences. If I died with the core in my hand, it was over. My save gone, I would have to fresh start everything. GG. Now, if I had died on my own terms, and trust me when I say this really frustrated me, that still would have been an impactful ending. After all, I just blew it for the galaxy. Like, I knew the stakes, I took the thing out, and I ran with it. But the game's janky Boeing Max 737 autopilot, oh my gosh, that's it. I gotta do 15 hours of work again because of that? Nope. You can skip the credits, restart, and bam, just reload the game. I mean, this was a minor hallelujah for me, because the jank game killed me. But it also was the first disconnect between what the game told me and what was true. The mechanics in the story no longer matched up, and as a piece of art, I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't stick with the weight of the premise, but as someone emotionally connected to a save, yeah, of course I was happy. But still, I feel a little bit torn on this. Now, unfortunately, I was locked into the least fun, most frustrating part of the game. Not the final chase, heck, the tension I felt here. Don't hit the fish, don't hit the fish, don't hit the fish, don't hit the fish, don't hit the fish. Don't hit the fish, no. I'm still alive. Holy crap. Come on. Nope, in. This thing, just hit this thing. Come on. No, I heard it. I heard the boom. Come on. Oh, no. When terrifying intensity I've ever felt in the game. Except again, I just got a do-over. And when it takes time, like 7 minutes for the final room to even open, that excitement and intensity just grows into an hour-plus grind where I had to force myself to give it one more go because I knew I was so close. It also terrified me. What if my assumption about where to take the warp core was wrong? So while waiting for the Ash Twin portal to open, I looked it up to confirm if I was right. Lo and behold, on like a 4th or 5th try, I got it. Frustration's over, profoundness begins. The Nomai race have been searching for something, sending out a signal, and that signal is older than anything ever experienced in history. It's the equivalent of God, and they refer to it as the eye of the universe. In some circles, they worship it. In others, they simply see it as a goal, a pool of wisdom that will answer everything and bring them fulfillment in their lives. Your character, and subsequently you, don't really have the time and investment that this previous race did to know and worship and learn about the eye, and as a result, you being the last survivor, the one to see generations of work to the end, well, I mean, it feels a little bit bittersweet. And I think that's intentional. We, the human race, may never reach the outskirts of space, but perhaps our technology could allow a future civilization to do so. And that makes me think. And I love that the game made me think, because while so many questions have been answered concretely, the mystery of the game's universe mirrors our own. There's a lot to interpret, and we each will examine the evidence and come to our own conclusions. The eye is, in fact, an entity, a real thing. But it's also a concept, an unexplained being with rules, but rules so different than our own that it is unexplainable to our notions of reality. The universe is dying, something you learn along the way, and your solar system is merely a casualty in this destruction. It's unclear to the end why this is happening. We just know the how, that it's the ghost matter on the Interloper comet that destroys the game's solar system. And interestingly, ghost matter is something that's never really talked about or understood either. It's everywhere in the game, benign in most places, but in others it spells immediate death. Because of my background, I interpret the game as a cosmic Noah's Ark, where your character is a representation for all of life. The difference is, we don't know why the flood is coming for this universe. Is it the eye's will? Or is it because the universe is infected with something deadly and malicious, the ghost matter? Is the eye using the ghost matter to fulfill its plan, or is the ghost matter its own distinct entity? These questions are never answered, but what does seem clear is that the eye does want to preserve life. Through the harmony that you, the members of the Outer Wilds, and the last surviving Nomai create, the eye focuses its life-producing flame to create something magical. The eye could probably have restarted the universe on its own, but instead it chose to work with you, retaining something great from this last universe and bringing it into the new. Sentient life. As the last surviving creature, you merge with the eye's newly created universe, filling it with sentient life in the hope that one day they will get to look up at the night sky, wide-eyed and hope-filled at the prospect of discovery, just like you did. Please give the game a go. Outer Wilds is a magical experience, and I want more games to tackle these themes with its unique technical challenges, and to continue creating worlds and universes to explore. Outer Wilds is thought-provoking in theme, boundless in scope, and an impeccably well-realized universe, technical hiccups aside. The planets are rich with detail and ripe for discovery. While some of the design elements hurt what should be the game's final conflict, its story, themes, and beauty are what I always wanted from a game about exploring that vast, dark ocean above.